Hi, everyone. We're going to just give another few minutes for everyone to log in and join the webinar, and then we will get started. So please hold tight, and we'll be Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Marmalade Partner Webinar Series. I'm Steph Jorgel, Head of Americas for Marmalade, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. The Marmalade Partner Webinar Series is designed to share thought leadership trends and tips around the services and integrations that work with the Marmalade cross-platform game development SDK, and features partners like Flurry, Fortumo, HasOffers, Appnext, PaymentWall, GameHouse, and others. We're going to start off today with about 45 minutes of presentation, followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. Feel free to post your questions during the presentation in the lower left part of the screen. We'll address these questions just following the presentation. So today's guest speaker is Jonathan Ravish, Director of Partnerships for Appnext. He's going to share with you some creative ways to improve game and app monetization and discovery. Jonathan, Jonathan, are you there? Just make sure he is unmuted. Okay, perfect. John? Hello, John?
Hi, Steph. Thank you very much. Hi, developers. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Rave. I'm the Director of Publishers and Partnerships at Appnext. And I'm going to be discussing creative ways to improve your app discovery monetization. So what we're going to discuss here is the classic developer's dilemma, which I will later explain about. I'm going to run through the popular ad units and ways that you can make them make you earn more money with. I'm going to be a little bit more specific about interstitials and ways you can again improve your revenues with. And then I'm going to discuss our exclusive API and API in general. I'm going to run through a little bit of the rates of CPI and eCPM you can make using ads, and then we'll sum it up. So let's start by saying a few words about Appnext. Appnext is, as written, a little monetization and discovery platform for mobile and social apps. We started at 2011 with Facebook apps, and in 2013 we moved to mobile. We're still active on Facebook, but our main focus today is mobile. And basically, what Appnext does is created a platform that from which every developer can have his own set of tools to create his own app distribution business. And today we work with over 4,000 developers. We have like between 500 and 1,000 developers joining us every month. 2 billion app requests per month, and we work pretty much all over the globe. And we also work with different media partners, not only app developers, to again supply them with a set of tools to distribute apps and generate revenue. So we also work with a few media partners. This is the part where I show off. And now let's move to the more important stuff, which is you and your dilemma. The classic developer's dilemma is very simple. Once you've chosen your ad network between the 200 or 300 ad networks that will approach you, you're provided with basically 2 or 3 ad types, which is the banner, the interstitial, and the video ad. And with those 3 ad types, you're expected to make enough revenue to sustain your product and to generate a decent amount of revenue. And sustaining that with these ad types is not easy at all. And why is that? It's because the users get used to seeing your ads during the game. They get used to seeing it at a certain location, and in the end, they find them sometimes annoying and just find sometimes intrusive. And of course, the more annoying, as you can see in the graph, the more annoying your games are, the more annoying the ads are, the less likely the user will be happy with your game, and the less likely that he will stay in your game for long. Also, as you can see in the graph, there is this critical point where the ads become too annoying and the user will simply either not come back to your app or just remove it totally. So again, I'm not saying that this graph is wrong. It's absolutely right. And you should definitely consider your ad frequency and not show a lot of ads in your game. But if you want to create a decent amount of revenue from your game, you're gonna have to show ads anyway. So what can you do? What I'm saying is there is a way to work around this graph. There are ways within this graph that can make you still generate enough revenue and not lose your users. So essentially, if we take an example, if you put like a very intrusive ad in the middle of gameplay, it might be more intrusive than 4 others non-intrusive in good and fitted locations in your game. So let's be more specific about this. Let's run through the conventional ad units. So we have the banners, which are very easy to integrate. It comes in standard sizes. It's very light. The SDK to implement is very lightweight. It's very easy to work with. It works with Android and iOS. It's very easy for you to implement it. And as you can see in any second app that you have on your iPhone or Android device, most devices, most apps use it. You could probably see the AdMob banners running on top of or on the bottom, and it's a standard way to earn revenue. The problem is that users find it really annoying. The user experience is very poor because it pretty much follows you anywhere you go in the game, and users find it intrusive. And in the end, I'm sure all of you want your game or your app to be as clean as possible, at least during gameplay. Next, you have your interstitial, which is very different from the banner because it doesn't follow you all the time. It pops up only in certain places and location, and it captures the complete attention of the user, which is very good, in my opinion. It has a lot of information about the promotion. It has good user experience in terms of engaging with the promotion and seeing exactly what the promotion is all about. It's much better than your standard banner. And the CTRs, there's a mistake there, the CTRs and the conversion rates are much higher than standard banners, which equal to more revenues for you. The problems with interstitials, it's that the frequency that you can use, the frequency is limited, meaning you can't use it too many times, otherwise it will be even more intrusive than your banner. It also has a longer load time, and well, that depends on the ad networks. At Appnext, we load our interstitials when the user opens the game for the first time. So when it's time to show the interstitials, the user sees it straight away, but not all ad networks work that way. And again, like any other ad, your interstitial could be regarded as an intrusive way to promote apps, and the user might not like it. Last, we have the video ads, which are a part of what we call in the industry the rich format ads, and the video ads are the most popular there. It is very rich and interesting content. The ad being the content itself, watching the video for advertisers has value in itself, even without opening or promoting an installation of an app. And it generates really high eCPMs, and the engagement accordingly is very high. The problem with video ads that it doesn't suit everyone. There's very limited inventory. There are not a lot of video ads out there, not like interstitials and banners anyway. It depends on your internet speed, meaning if you try to show a video ad to a user in New York with a good Wi-Fi or 3G connection, then it might work very well. And then again, if you show it in a third world country or even a first world country with the low connection, it might not work and it might damage the user experience. And the one last thing is that it's very long, and there is a possible chance that you will actually shift the user focus from the game to the ad. And I'm pretty sure you don't want that. I personally saw a 30-minute video ad, not seconds, 30 minutes video ad just a few days ago on my Song Pop game that I like to play. So it's there and it's working, but you need to know exactly the risks involved. So in terms of all these ad units, we find the interstitial ad the most appealing and the most fitting for most developers, and actually balancing the intrusiveness and the other factors of your game and still maintaining a high level of revenue. So I'm going to discuss a little bit about interstitial ads with you. Again, interstitial banners and video ads are standard in the industry, and they're not really creative. But in these non-creative environments, there's still creative ways to make them work better for you. And the first element that you have to consider when interstitial ads or any ads is the location. It's where you put it in your app. Now, originally, I thought that the best possible location for an interstitial would be during app exit. So, I mean, you can put an interstitial during app launch, in the middle of the game, or when the game is over, or when a user switches from level 1 to level 2, or when the user declines an in-app purchase. There are plenty of locations for you to put the interstitial. And we thought that when the user is ready to leave your app, that would be the best possible location, because the user is already done playing your game, is already ready for a new experience, and showing him the ad in that location would be the best performing location. So we thought so, but as we work with 4,000 developers, we tried to target and to analyze the eCPMs by the location. And what we found out was really quite interesting. We found out that during app launch, which personally for me is the most inadequate location to show an interstitial, was the highest performing location. And I find it very, actually very surprising. And again, I cannot exactly explain it to you. I mean, I know that this is a fact, and we checked it too many times to be wrong here. But in general, we found that showing an interstitial during app launch is working much better for pretty much all the developers we're working with. Of course, there are other factors you need to consider here, because showing an interstitial during app launch might be considered as intrusive. You need to consider other ads and other locations, and of course, some developers think that when the user first opens the app, or not for the first time, even for the third time, when he opens the app, showing him an interstitial when he's just about ready to play a game, your game, is in potential to really piss them off. But I talk to other developers which tend to think that putting an ad when you move from level 2 to level 3 is much worse in terms of the user experience. So they much rather put it during app launch when the user is still not playing the game than in the middle of the game. They don't want to break his concentration, and I can certainly understand that. What I guess the main message here is that you should all go with your intuition, the same as I did, but you should always accept and be willing to try and test things that are against your intuition. I keep hearing in other events, mobile related events, people always there are lecturing, always telling developers and others and to just go with their intuition. And I certainly agree there, but you always have to keep an open mind and accept things that are against it. And in this case, this is the perfect proof for me. I was dead sure that Appnext was the best performing location, and I was dead wrong. So again, another thing I have to say about this is just keep testing it. It's not enough to test a location for a day or 2 days. You need to test it for at least a matter of a few days, even a week, then decide, then compare it to another location, and then try to learn more about the best fitting location and the best performing location. So we're done with location, but there are still other things that you can do with an interstitial, or at least other networks can do with interstitial, that will help you make better revenue. So interstitials in ad networks, they look pretty much the same way with all the networks. You have the image, you have the description, you have the title, and then you have this call to action button. You can see in the left what Appnext started with, and it's very similar with all of the interstitials with other networks, and the experience is pretty much the same. So we kept thinking about how we can change that experience and give the user better options and better engagement. And what we came up with, as you can see in the middle, is we added 2 arrows to the interstitials on the left and on the right of the image. And when the user clicked on them, it just moved to another promotion. And you could also, of course, swipe it because it's a touch screen. You could swipe it and see other offers. And again, according to my intuition, I used to think that it's going to work amazing and raise the eCPM at least 50, 60, 70%. And in reality, we saw that it improved it by 10 to 20%. And for me, it was quite disappointing. And we kept thinking about other ways to make ads work better and engage the user better. And in the end, we I hate the expression thinking outside the box, but I would say that in this case, it's exactly what we did. We started thinking outside the box. We realized that we were constantly thinking about giving the user more options to engage, but we didn't give him more ways to engage. So our current interstitial, and the last step of this evolution, is a full page interstitial that now takes pretty much the entire space of the screen. But the main change that we made was adding, as you can see on the right, the image on the right, click a button that says install, and underneath it, if you can see, it's very small, or send by email. So this send by email function actually allows the user to either click on the ad and install the app right away, or send it to his email and later on engage with it. And that power alone, the option that you give your developer, even if it didn't use the send by email function, the power alone worked like magic, and it increased the eCPM 100% across the board. So it was a major improvement for us. And of course, this type of update is only available on Android because Apple has restriction, and you cannot use the user email. But on any Android device you can. And again, the one thing I neglected to mention is that the user doesn't have to fill out his email, as the device already knows his email from his account. So everything works automatically, and again, it's proved to be very successful. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, again, there are creative ways to work with non-creative ads and ad types, and us as a network, of course, we have to keep thinking about new ways, but it's also your responsibility as developers to think about it and to expect more from your network. Okay, so we're done with the regular and standard ad units, and next we're moving on to something much better. So I mean, the problem with video ads and banners and interstitials is that they fit all the apps, and that is a real problem because they fit all the apps, they don't fit each app, and they're probably not 100% fit to any of your apps, and that's a problem. It's a problem that causes that has an effect on the intrusiveness, on the user experience, and in the end, we all want to generate a better user experience and maintain a high level of revenues for you. So, and Appnext, we started thinking about creating other ads, and in the end, we just started from the basics, and we started thinking about the ad building bricks, as we call them, the ingredients that compose the apps, the ads, and basically these are the ad building bricks. Every ad or most ads are compiled from app name, description, some sort of an image, and the URL. And for Android apps, the package name as well, but not for iOS. And it's I guess it's not it doesn't, I mean, it fits all the banners and interstitials. They're all composed of some sort of mix from these bricks, but again, they don't fit your app like they should. So we thought about it a lot, and then we thought, why not let you, the developers, pick your own bricks and build your own ads? And this what made us create our API. And the API, as opposed to an SDK, is a scalable and an easy to implement solution for each developer to build his own app distribution business in exactly the size and the model and the shape that he wants it. You can think of it like an IKEA furniture, only it's probably much easier to build than an IKEA furniture. And in the end, you have the freedom to create, any furniture that you desire. So what we do here is you use our App Engine, which is a program to supply you with the best performing ad and best performing offer at any given time, and to fit it for any given screen, device, operating system, and it's based on user history and based on a lot of parameters. And you just take the API and you build your own native ads that fit your game, and you can promote it with your user interface. Now, this is a very important issue because in the end, ads that are fitted inside your game, and that have like a native look and feel to it, that will perform much better for you, that will generate more revenues for you, and users will find them much more engaging and much less intrusive. And that's a real big challenge for any app developer today. So I'm going to show you a few examples of how you can use these APIs. These are just some examples. As you can see on the left, somebody used it in the middle of gameplay with an image. As you can see, the small battery saver there that is actually has the look and feel of the game. And another user, second to the left, used an app wall to appear in his game with exactly the same user experience that he desired. And a few more examples. You can see on the right there is an app, like a chat app. Somebody wrote, "I will try it," and contextually the app offered him, "Why not try a new app?" So contextual is very, very good, and everything that's surrounding your user experience of the app, of the game, will perform much, 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 much better. What I did want to share with you is one last example of the API, which is the click tag. The click tag is basically the most simple way to use an API. So what we did here is an app developer. He has a lock screen app. He created a small icon, as you see, of a present, and he wrote special offer, your special offer. And when the user clicks on it, basically what our developer took from the API is only the URL. He didn't take the image, the text, the description. He took nothing, only the destination URL. So our API actually, when a user clicks on the image of the present, our engine provides through the API the best performing URL and sends him straight to the Play Store to download the app. That's a very good way. You can use it as app of the day, free apps, a special offer, and it's designed to be as unintrusive as possible. Of course, if you want to be super intrusive, you can even use the destination URL and pop up the Google Play page. We don't recommend it, but we see developers do it. So there are various ways to use the API and the click tag. And again, when you use the API and you create that special native experience, you see that the performance is much better and revenues are much better. It hardly ever fails. Last thing I want to do is just run over a few CPI rates. CPI is cost per install. These are the rates that advertisers today are willing to pay. These are, of course, averages. These are the rates that advertisers are willing to pay for an installation of an app. So you can see in what we call tier 1 countries, which are USA, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, the rates are pretty high. And as you go to tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4 countries, rates decrease. And of course, when you look at the eCPM that each developer is making, by the way, eCPM is the amount that, if anybody here is unclear, eCPM is the amount that you can, the amount of revenue you generate from showing an ad 1,000 times, from 1,000 ad impressions. So, as you can see, pretty much like the last slide, revenues are, of course, much higher for US, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. And as you go to other countries and less developed countries, the amount of revenues that you're going to make will decrease. I'm not trying to tell you this is something that you should be informed about. I'm not trying to tell you to focus only on tier 1 and tier 2 countries, but I am trying to tell you to know what you're dealing with. You should all be aware of the range of the revenue, pretty much the range of the revenue you can make in each country, and it's very different from one another. You'll get a lot of users from a lot of places, a lot of different countries in the world because we're all one big planet, and you should all, be informed and be and have the knowledge to understand the amount of revenue you can make from them. So the conclusions, again, placement makes a very huge difference, and you should keep testing until you get it right. It doesn't work instantly. It's not easy, and you will probably fail a few times, but you have to keep testing until you get it right. Try to use ads that offer better options to engage with the promotion. This is regarding the interstitial I showed you with the send by email function. Of course, Appnext is not the only one that does innovative stuff. You have a lot of others that show this stuff, that do other things. You should all try and find the creative ways to get your users to engage with the offers. Don't be afraid of APIs. Sometimes they require more work, but they certainly work. You can even try, if you want, as a test, try to create your menu, your app menu, try to create it with HTML so you can update it at any time and then use our API or another company's API. There's a lot of stuff you can do with APIs. Just be willing to try it. Try to think outside the box and inside your app. Try to find new places and new locations, new ways to engage with the users. Stay geo-focused, which means don't focus on one country or area, but know your limits, know how much revenue you can make. And keep it simple. And maybe one that I didn't talk about is try to work with more than one ad network. There are a lot of ad networks out there. We recommend everyone, even the ones that are working with us, if they want to work with other networks, that's totally okay. I think that all developers need to work with at least 2 or 3 networks at the same time, compare them, work with them, and try to figure out which one is providing them the highest revenue. And keep it simple. And the last thing I'm going to tell you guys is that I know that creating games is your business, and I know you're concentrated on actually creating the games, and that revenues are just the byproduct there. But it will not work, at least not in the optimal way, if you don't give it the right amount of attention. And if there's only one lesson that I hope you learned from this webinar, it's that monetizing your games, it's an ongoing mission. It's just like optimizing your in-app purchases, your updates, your bug fixes, and anything else that comes with the territory. And I just hope you keep that in mind. I hope this webinar helped you to get a better understanding of monetization. And of course, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them now. And of course, you're always welcome to approach me at any given time. My details are here, and feel free to approach me in any other way. And I thank you for listening, and it was my pleasure.
Thanks, Jonathan. Let's see here on the just a reminder, anyone who has questions about the presentation or questions otherwise about Appnext for Jonathan, you can post your questions to the left of the screen, and we'll address these questions. Let's see, we have a question that just came in. Should I use more than one ad type in the game?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. I think the answer is, of course, there is no definitive answer, but the answer is yes. You should use more than one ad type in the game. You should at least try to use more than one ad type in the game, because again, each game works very different from one another, and you should always keep testing it until you find the right amount of dosage from each ad type, and figure out which mix is working the best for you.
Okay, great. There was another question and comment that came in. It was asking about parameters for click tag, like the type of app. I think the question was relating to having like a game app, game ads for inside of game apps. Is there any kind of ability to do that within Appnext to kind of specify the type of ad that you want to host?
Well, right now there isn't. We don't. I mean, of course, if there are apps that you are willing to that you want to exclude from showing, let's say, for example, one of your competitors that you don't want to show, or any type of specific apps that you don't want to show, we can certainly accommodate it. But in the end, the click tag is supposed to rely on our ad servers, and our ad servers, once they how should I say, so to speak, learn your app and the user history and the performance, they supply with the best performing offer. So I guess for all developers, you don't really want to touch it, and you don't really want to try to have it any other way.
Okay. There's another question on click tag, and I'm not sure, this isn't clear to me, but maybe it's clear to you. It says, how will they notify ad on click tag? How will they notify ad app is installed or not without SDK? Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. I guess what developers think here is it's not an SDK. So if it's not an SDK, how do users really know? How do the developers really know how we actually can track the install, and how can we track the revenue, and how can we report it? Well, I'm not a technical guy. But if Metin, I see his question, if he wants to approach me directly, I will, send the technical explanation. API doesn't work with SDK, but because it's still a placement ID that was generated in our dashboard, there's no problem with tracking the installation back to this specific developer, and it works that way in any APIs, I guess.
Okay. There's another question that came in from Elad. Do you find game ads work better than app ads, like ads for apps inside of games?
Well, just a minute. Just trying to understand if game ads for app ads or app ads for game ads. Okay, I got it. It's well, I find game ads working not better than app ads. I mean, we used to think that game ads are working better, but I guess recently, in the past few months, at least from the beginning of 2014, when we really made like a research inside our network, we found that app ads, utility apps, or personalization, or any other type of apps that are not games, are actually converting better than game apps. So again, something that I never thought would be, but we were faced with the reality that it's actually converting better.
Great. That's great. Let's see. I don't see any other questions. If anybody has any other questions, go ahead and type them into the menu. Otherwise, we will wrap up and tell you about our upcoming webinars. You can go ahead and, let's see, I have one that just came in from Raza. It's, how lightweight is your SDK?
Wow, that's a very good question. I honestly don't remember, and I don't want to say anything wrong. I think it's about I can't remember. It's about 100 kilobytes or 200 kilobytes, but that's pretty much the area. Again, you can send me Raza, Gil. You can send me a private email, and then I'll answer it right away. Sorry.
Great. So here's another question that came in. What are the trends? What are the trends for 2014 in numbers? Is the ad pool increasing, decreasing, or constant
Well,
for 2014 and beyond?
well, I think is somebody is telling me here that our SDK actually weighs 250 kilobytes. So thank you, Metin, or whoever you are. Thank you. We see the trends as I mean, it's very very clear. The ad pool is growing, it's increasing, and I guess it'll still increase in 2015. We're seeing much more advertisers, joining in, seeing the value in mobile advertising and in actually paying to get installed, and the pool is constantly increasing. So I guess for developers, it's much harder to get their app discovered and downloaded because there are over 1 million apps in each app store. But then again, monetizing them and getting more and interesting and various offers to the users is becoming easier.
Great. All right. Well, unless we have any other questions, I'm going to just move forward here to tell you what's next on the agenda. We're going to have our next webinar is going to be PushWhoosh, cross-platform push notification services on March 26th at noon Pacific time, 7 p.m. GMT. Following that, we're going to have a rebroadcast of our Fortumo webinar, How to Make More Revenue on Android, which will be on April 2nd, also at noon Pacific time, 7 p.m. GMT. Here's the link to register. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to be here with us for this webinar, and thanks again to Jonathan and Appnext for participating in our series. And again, this is Jonathan's information here. And we will follow up by circulating the slides for this presentation to the participants. So thank you so much, and we hope that you'll join us next time. All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.